working on PowerPoint multi-project 2. We're currently working on the computer care project. Task 1 asks us to go to slide 5. Select the text that says update at least weekly. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll select the outside edge of this text box. Because we have this selected, we have the drawing tools and format at the top. And then it's asking us to apply this word art style. So with that, we'll go ahead and we're on again in the word art styles. We'll click this down arrow and we'll go ahead and click this fill, text 1 shadow. We'll click mark completed. Task 2 asks us to go to the last slide and insert a hyperlink. So this computerstore.gmetrix.com is what we need. I actually selected too much. Be careful you don't select too much. With that selected, we're going to go to the Insert tab. We're going to click Hyperlink in the Links section. And what we need to do is we can actually just copy this because it's the same thing. We'll click Paste. I'd use Control-C and then Control-V to paste, but you could also type that. We'll click OK. And now that's become a hyperlink. We'll go ahead and click Mark Completed. Task 3 asks us to go to the last slide, which we're on, and in the lower right-hand corner, we're going to insert a text box. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll click. We're still on the Insert tab. We're in the text group. We're going to click Text Box, and let's just go ahead and drag there. And it tells us one of the first things we need to do is to change the width. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll just bump this down to 2.5. You could also key in here and hit Enter, and it tells us to go ahead and insert the text questions. Feel free to contact us. If you're not careful on how you type it, you could type it wrong and get it, and it'll mark you wrong if you miss punctuation or you don't capitalize. That could also hurt you. So make sure you type it exactly as you see it in the step. Click Mark Completed. Task 4 asks us to change the layout of slide 3. So let's go ahead and scroll up to slide 3. And I'm on the Home tab now, and we're in the Slides group. We'll click the Layout drop down, and we're looking for To Content. Click Mark Completed. Actually, before we move on, we have to apply the Intense effect to that heart shape. So we'll go ahead and select the heart shape. We'll click, because we've selected that, we have the Drawing Tools and Format tab. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then where we need to go for this is actually in this area. So we'll click this Shape Styles drop down, and we're looking for Intense Effect Lavender. So I believe it's this one, Intense Effect Lavender Accent 6. If you're not sure, hover. It will give you the correct one. All right. Now we can click Mark Completed. And Task 5 asks us to go to Slide 2. And it says that we're going to apply a solid fill background to slide 2. So we're going to click the Design tab here, and all the way over to the right, we'll click that. Now, it's right now at a gradient, so we'll click Solid, and then our color right here is going to be blue. All right, click Mark Completed. We are working on PowerPoint Multi-Project 2, currently working on the Eco-Friendly project. Task 1 asks us to go ahead and remove the header and the footer from the Notes Master. So we need to go to the View tab up here at the top. We need to go to Notes Master underneath the Master Views group. And it brings us to this view. All we need to do is uncheck header and footer, and we can click Close on this task. We'll click Mark Completed. Task 2 asks us to go ahead and change the presentation to be viewed in the widescreen 16:9 and ensure the fit. Now, if you're just thinking and clicking, you're going to think View. You actually want to be on the Design tab. So we're on the Design tab all the way to the right with the Customize group. We're going to click this, and we'll click Widescreen, and then we'll click Ensure Fit, and it goes ahead and it makes that change for us. We'll click Mark Completed. Task 3 asks us to configure the printing options to print notes pages for this presentation. So we're going to go ahead and click File. We'll click Print, and down here in this area, instead of full page slides, we'll click Note Pages. And we can click the back arrow to get out of Backstage View. We can click Mark Completed. Task 4 asks us to go to Slide 5. So we'll slide down here. And in the text box, we're going to go ahead and insert the histogram. So we'll click this one, which is the insert chart. We'll click histogram, and there's just the normal histogram, and then there's the one that they want you to select. So up here at the top, just make sure you click that, and we'll double click here. Went ahead and inserted that for me. Now it opens up this Excel chart. Doesn't have us keying in any data, so we can just close out of it. We'll click Mark Completed. And finally, it tells us to go to the last slide, and we're going to insert a Smart Art graphic. So we'll click Insert, Smart Art. We're going to the Process group, and it's this one right here. If you're not sure, be sure to hover to make sure you're selecting the correct one. We'll double click. That's it. We'll click Mark Completed. We are working on PowerPoint Multi-Project 2. Currently working on the Business Camp project. Task 1 asks us to go ahead and configure the printing options to print slides 1, 3, and 4. Now, this one's a little bit tricky, but what we have to do is select all of these slides at the same time before we go to the print. So we have one selected. We need to go ahead and hold our Control key down on our keyboard. And as we're holding Control down, we're going to select slide 3 and slide 4. Notice I have the border around slides 1, 3, and 4 now. Now I can click File, Print, and we're going to go ahead and, we don't want to print all slides, but we're actually going to select Print Selection. And we now have these 3 slides. Now, if you did not select all 3 slides, only one slide will show. Once we've done that, we can go ahead and click the back arrow to go back to our PowerPoint presentation. We'll click Mark Completed. Step 2 asks us to go ahead and prepare this presentation to be printed in grayscale. So we're actually going to click File again. We're going to go back to Print, and we're going to change at the bottom right here under Settings. We're going to go from color to grayscale. And notice that the color is now taken away from here, and it's going to print in grayscale. We'll click Mark Completed. Task 3 asks us to go back to our presentation, so we will click this back arrow here. And we are going to slide 4. And we're going to go ahead and select this list because we're going to break it into 2 columns. On the Home tab, we're going to go ahead and click this right here. And don't click this because we need to make sure that we have the 0.5 space. And we're actually going to click More Columns. We'll select 2 here, and this is 0.5, so we'll keep that. We'll click OK. We'll click Mark Completed. Task 4 asks us to go to the Smart Art graphic on slide 5. And we're actually going to add a bullet. So we'll click this, and we'll click this little fly box to open our text pane. And in between invite students from course and get accepted to camp, we're going to go ahead and type the text enroll students. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter right here. You could also add the bullet points from the design tab on the Smart Art ribbon part and click add bullet, but I just went ahead and clicked enter, and we'll type in enroll students, and notice I've capitalized both the E and the S. We'll click Mark Completed. And task 5 asks us to go to the last slide, and we have this picture of a Microsoft certificate. So we'll go ahead and click that, and we're going to go to the Animations tab, and right here in the Effect Options, we're going to go ahead and select Square, and notice it changes the pattern of the animation. We'll click Mark Completed. We are working on PowerPoint Multi-Project 2. We're currently on the Police Auction project. Task 1 asks us to go ahead and insert the PNG file on the master slide. So let's go ahead and go to View and click the Slide Master here. And we want to go to this first slide up here. From here, we want to go ahead and click Insert, Pictures. We'll click GMetrix Templates. We'll click Badge, PNG. And it has us placing it in the bottom right-hand corner of our slide, so we'll go ahead and do that. Right there should be good. We'll click Mark Completed, and we'll actually close out of the Slide Master. So we'll click Slide Master, Close Master View. Task 2 asks us to apply the smooth transition effect to all slides in the presentation. I'm just going to go ahead and select that slide and hit Control A on my keyboard to select all of the slides. And then over here in the effect options, I'm going to go ahead and click smoothly. Click Mark Completed. Task 3 asks us to animate the entrance of the items on the last slide. So that's this right here. And we're going to apply the animation fly-in. Click Mark Completed. Task 4 asks us to go ahead and change the duration of all transitions to 0.75. So again, I'm going to go ahead and just hit Control A on my keyboard to select all of the slides. Once I've selected the one, transition, and you can type it in or you can click up, 0.75, apply to all. And Task 5 says that we're going to go ahead and merge this presentation. So we're going to go to the Review tab, and we're going to go to Compare. We'll go to our GMetrix folder. And the file that we need is police auction _2. We'll click Merge. And what we're doing is we're comparing the two documents on this step. And the only one that we really care for this step is slide 4. So we'll go ahead and select slide 4 over here. And they've proposed changes over here. What I want to do is click the Accept down arrow and click Accept all changes to this slide. We'll go ahead and click that. Notice it went ahead and updated it. We can click Mark Completed, and I'll close out of this revisions. We are working on PowerPoint Multi-Project 2. We're currently on the Adventure Travel project. Task 1 asks us to go ahead and rename the untitled section to Intro. So we'll go ahead right here on the view pane on the left. You have that untitled section. We're going to just right click on that. We're going to click Rename Section to Intro, capital I. And then click Rename. Ask us on slide 3 to go ahead and select the picture. And we're going to apply the rotated white style. With that picture selected, I have the Pictures Tools Format tab at the top. And right here is the selection we need. If you're not sure, make sure you hover to make sure you're making the correct selection. We'll click Mark Completed. Task 3 asks us to go to slide 5. And we're going to go ahead and align the center picture. And there's actually 2 steps. After we align it, we're going to bring it to the front. So we'll select that picture. Because we've selected it, we have the Pictures Tools format again. And we're going to go ahead and over here in the Arrange Align Middle. And then we need to bring it forward. Now in that same group, you can do that. Click there and click Bring to Front. Or you can right click here and do the same thing, Bring to Front. I'm sorry, I only did Bring to Forward. We want Bring to Front. And notice that that picture now is in front of both pictures. We'll click Mark Completed. The next step asks us to go ahead and do a spell check. If you're not thinking, you'll want to think. If you're just reading the question quickly, I'm going to go home and click Replace, but it actually just wants you to do spell check. So we'll click the Review tab. We'll click ABC Spelling right over there. And the first thing that it flags is that lodging is spelled incorrectly. And it's actually not the first one, but the second one according to our instructions down here. So we'll click Lodging, we'll click Change, and then the other spell check feature is the rock crawling. So we'll go ahead and put that space in there with this change suggestion. We'll click Change. And then PowerPoint's telling us that that spell check is complete and that we're good to go. So we'll click OK. We'll click Mark Completed. And Task 5 asks us to go ahead and create a handout from this PowerPoint. So we need to begin by going to File, Export, Create Handouts, Create Handouts again. Now the first part of this is to display blank lines next to each slide on the handout. So we'll go ahead and click that button there. And then the other portion of this we can keep. And then we'll go ahead and click OK. Now what PowerPoint is doing is taking this information and it's going to open up Word for us. And you see it's flashing down here. So if you don't see it, you just need to click that. And it's populating Word for us right now. All right. After we've done that, we'll go ahead and click File, Save As. We'll select our GMetrix Templates folder. And in here, we're going to go ahead and rename this to Handout. We'll click Save. And we want to make sure that we've closed it after it's saved. So we'll go ahead and click that. And we'll click Mark Completed. We are working with PowerPoint multi-project number 2. We are currently on the internet sales project. Task 1 asks us to go ahead and import the marketing.rtf file. And it says that it wants it to go to the next 2 slides immediately following the title slide. So with the title slide selected, which is the first slide, we'll go ahead and click New Slide here. And we'll click Slides from Outline. And it's right here. And if you're not sure, RTF or rich text format, it's right there as your file extension. So we'll go ahead and click Insert. And notice that the next 2 pages are that file. We'll click Mark Completed. Task 2 asks us to go ahead and remove the last slide, titled Summary. So we'll click and drag that all the way down, and we'll click this slide. And on my keyboard, I'm actually just going to go ahead and hit the Delete key. And notice it disappears. Mark Completed. Task 3 asks us to go ahead and delete the word of mouth row from the table on generating income. So we'll look for that. There's your generating income. And it says that we just need to delete the row word of mouth. If I can select in there. Let's see if we zoom in. That'll help. There we go. From there we can right click and click this right here. Actually, I'm sorry, this right here. And we just want to delete the row. So notice it goes ahead and it disappears for me. We'll zoom back out. Click Mark Completed. Task 4 asks us to go ahead and go to the end time, the video right here. And we're going to have the end time be exactly 14 seconds. So here we are in playback. And we're going to click the Trim Video. Now I have this tab because I've selected the video. Trim Video, and right here you can click the down arrow, but we just need to hit 14, and we'll click OK. Click Mark Completed. And Task 5 asks us to change the video to medium volume. We're still on the Playback tab because we have this selected, and under Volume we'll click Medium. Click Mark Completed. We are working on PowerPoint multi-project number 2. We're currently on the Lake Vacations project. Task 1 asks us to go to slide 4 and insert an image. So we'll go ahead and slide down to slide 4. And in this placeholder content box, we're going to go ahead and select the image or pictures. If you're not sure, hover so that you're sure you're selecting the right one. And with that, we'll go to our Documents GMetrix folder. And we're going to select Boat and Canoe. Click Insert. And we'll click Mark Completed. Task 2 asks us to go ahead and go to slide 5. And we're actually going to equalize these sides. We're going to center align them. So I'm going to select my first one, and then I'm going to hold the Control key down on my keyboard, and I'm going to select the other 2. Again, I have the Control key held down as I'm selecting those. Now, because I have those shapes selected, I have the Drawing Tools Format tab. And from there, I'm going to go to the Arrange group, Align, and it's Align Center. So notice that those align them center. And then finally, I need to go ahead and group them. Now, I could right-click here and click Group, but I'm going to show you from here, Arrange Group, and then we'll click Group. Now it's all one. So we'll go ahead and click Mark Completed. Task 3 asks us to go to slide 6. And we're going to add a title, or I'm sorry, a legend above this chart. So we'll go ahead, with that selected, we can click this plus sign, legend, and we'll go ahead and click top. And it went ahead and put that legend there at the top. Click Mark Completed. Task 4 asks us to go ahead and convert the list to the target list graphic, which is SmartArt. So we'll go ahead and select all of that text, and we're going to go ahead and right-click, click Convert to SmartArt. And it's actually right in this section, luckily for us. You can hover Target List. If you're not sure, make sure to hover. And it went ahead and put those points there. And click Mark Completed. And Task 5 asks us to go ahead and delete the comment in this document. So we're going to go to the Review tab, and I'm just going to click Next Comment here in this section. And it says that it didn't see one. Would I like to start from the beginning? I'm going to go ahead and click Continue. And here is our comment by Thor Christensen. And it says we just need to delete it. So we'll click this X right here, and it disappears. We'll click Mark Completed.